Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to comment and subscribe. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. First time tuning in, thank you so much. If you're a returning listener, thank you as well. Today's video is going to be special. You're going to be like, wow, Gina, what are you thinking? Yes, today's video is going to be titled why video games are good for you, right? Well, before I delve into that, my name is Gina. I'm a psychiatric APRN, and I do mental health education videos and self-help, self-improvement videos as well. So if you're listening in, you have any comments or questions, future topics you want to put down there, that's really awesome. So today, without wasting much more time, we're gonna go into just 3 reasons why video games could be good for you. Like how I say all the time, right? Everything in moderation. If you're drinking alcohol, having alcohol, a glass during like a social event, totally fine. If you're drinking bottles and bottles of wine or alcohol, hard liquor, just to go through the daily grinds of every day, that's, you need help. A lot of times it's a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional pain, negative emotion bottled up for a long time that needs to be released. Same thing with video games. It can be a way to really dissociate, a way to distract oneself from emotional pain, because it takes you into a whole different zone, a whole different world. You don't have to really deal with what needs to be dealt with. So it's a distraction, because people can sometimes end up spending hours and losing on productivity. That's not what I'm talking about. Not that kind of engagement in video games, right? But if every now and then, let's say once a week, once every other week, or best still, once a month or so, you splurge or you engage in playing a video game or two. That's what I'm talking about. And really also age appropriate, right? Because sometimes kids, video games and stuff like that can become a crutch for them, or parents can end up having that as a way to like have them get engaged and so they can do their thing. But before you know it, because video games can be very addictive, just like any other vices, anything that distracts us from emotionality or being present, can become a big deal if one doesn't really take care to do it in moderation. Like I preach everything in moderation, including video games. Now let's go into why video games can sometimes be considered good based on research, right? Can help with attention, because a lot of video games require that you pay attention to what's going on, can be very competitive, can increase visual processes, mental capacity can also be improved, can also increase one of the other thing it's creativity. So going back to improving attention, that I have some people show up to me and they're like, oh, I have trouble concentrating at work, I have trouble helping around the house, I can't get things done. But if you ask them how many hours do they spend doing video games, and they continue, you'll be baffled, because they get so engaged in it, because it's something they enjoy to do. So yes, it can help attention, but you have to be mindful, being mindful of how the attention, is being used is important. So if you're able to be attentive during that time to play video games, a lot of time I encourage the same strategy and using the same capacity in other aspects of life as well. So one of the first benefits is increasing and improving attention. So using that same strategy that one use to improve attention during a video game can also be a good strategy to use to improve attention in schoolwork, to improve attention at work, in home life, and all of that. The second thing is increasing, like I mentioned before, creativity and ability to be able to think faster on your toes, right? Because a lot of the video games can be very complex. And if you're not creative or finding different ways to get ahead, you can always lose the game. So in order to win the game, that one attention and being creative in order to win is another great one. Because when you fail, sometimes it feels bad. So in order to overcome the failure, when you come back and you're resilient, you usually find that, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z in order for me to win this game. So what I always say is, if you're able to use that same strategy to win the game and you're so attentive and find different tactics, please use the same tactics to win in school, to win at work, to win at home, right? So that you're using that same strategy, just like I said in point one, to win in all aspects of your life. So one way to really benefit from using video game is the same way that I'm talking about, feeling the pain of losing and finding the way to improve on it. And last but not the least, is to process aggression or distress. Because sometimes when you're stressed out, right, another way to distract ourselves is to engage in like video games, or some people play Candy Crush to distract themselves, or different video games for kids, Minecraft, and things like that. But once again, is with the summer coming along and kids being out of school, yes, it can be good to process the aggression, the anxiety, of sitting with your not really having a lot to do. Like school is very structured now, being out of school. If you're not, kids are not doing summer camp and also they're home and there's no structure like that, they can find themselves just that anxiety channeling it into hours of being on video games. So parents really being mindful of that and helping them to get that aggression or anxiety out of the way by, getting them out of the house, playing outside a lot, really structuring their everyday life, especially for summer break, so they are not overly involved in video games. Although, like I said, with these 3 points, video game can be a positive thing for their brains, can help them develop new brain cells, because the brain is so malleable, especially with kids. And like the powder, you can mold it into the way you want it to be. So when you gauge different things, like I've done in some other videos, like dancing or doing puzzles, crossword puzzle, those kind of reading something new, learning a new skill. Video games can also be another way where you're really growing new cells in your brain to develop even more muscle. Just like when you go to the gym and you're exercising, when you're exercising those muscles and you're pushing them against the limit, they develop new strength, right? To be able to even lift heavier and heavier weight, or be able to do more and more strenuous exercises, and your heart can tolerate it. But you can't go from 0 to 10, like you haven't exercising forever, and then you come in and you can exercise like boom, 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 an hour stretch without feeling out of breath. Same thing with these processes, is to really limit the time, to slowly build it up, but making sure that it's not in excess. So one, improving attention. 2, improving creativity. And 3, process anxiety, because you have an opponent, you're aggressive, your aggression, like ready to win, and you're able to get that out of your system. But once again, everything in moderation. So that is my points today on the benefit of an adult. Drop down a comment, questions, ideas, what kind of video games you find to be beneficial to kids, what suggestions you have, because some video games can be really educational for kids, right? Help them to think more, or even math, different things like that. So drop those names down in the comments, and I probably can also learn from it. Thank you so much, and have a great, wonderful summer, guys. Bye. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to comment and subscribe.